glad that you all could join us this summer morning. Before we begin, I just wanted to acknowledge the land in which we're being hosted here on the University of Utah campus, the Goshu, Ute, Paiute, Shoshone, and Ute people who the stewards of this land, and we are guests. We are grateful that all those who are attending, wherever you may be in Utah, to think about those folks that are hosting us. And today we are going to be welcomed by Dean Stockton and Associate Dean Bergeson, and we will be introducing them shortly. Before then, we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the events that transpired this weekend. I was contacted also by a few of the scholars that were going to be in attendance, but were unable to come this morning because their families were directly impacted. We're hoping that this space for the Pasifika Scholars will be a space that Dr. Ron said it best, a space of healing and of speaking truth of our histories, as well as understanding why we are here at the present time, as well as seeing what other opportunities there will be for the future in higher education and how we can connect that within our communities, which are disproportionately, unfortunately, affected by violence, as well as trying to understand and make our way through all of these sorts of events that have happened. Sadly, it's don't choke up, but sadly, it's not something that is brand new to us. When we do find that folks are impacted not just by COVID, but also by violence against each other. So we just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge the passing of a member of our community, as well as those that are still in the hospital, and praying that they will be able to find healing with their families as well as the community. So thank you all for joining. We'll just have these 30 seconds of silence for that. Thank you all for joining us in that moment. Now that we will be transitioning to welcoming you all, we also are very grateful that you all are joining us. And we've been really excited for this Pasifika webinar series, even though last year we did it online, but we also were hoping we would be in person this year, but Kehal or Dr. Ron called it and said last year we would still be online this year. I think we're all marked by some Zoom fatigue and a lot of other celebrations that also happened. I know that many of the folks that are joining us had siblings or family members, or they themselves graduated from high school this past weekend. So I hope that you carry that energy and into this week and learning about us here, and also a little bit more about the resources here at the University of Utah and how we can help in your educational journeys. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our welcome speaker, Dean Kathryn Stockton. I will just read her short bio, even though it's pretty illustrious. There's a lot of things that
to shorten it, really shorten it. Yes.
I I will do a very quick synopsis of it. Kathryn Bond Stockton is a distinguished professor of English, former associate vice president of equity and diversity, and inaugural dean of the School of Cultural and Social Transformation at the University of Utah, where she teaches queer theory, theories of race, and racialized gender and 20th century literature and film. And that was the short. I want to just make mention her forthcoming book with MIT Press is entitled Genders, and she has also authored God Between Their Lips. Stockton has taught at Cornell University School of Criticism and Theory. In 2013, she was awarded the Rosenblatt Prize for excellence, the highest honor granted to the university at the University of Utah. So that was a really short version, Dr. Stockton. And we just wanted Dr. Stockton to kind of tell us a little bit of the history of how we came to be with the Pacific Island Studies Initiative, and welcome you all. So thank you, Dr. Stockton.
Wonderful. So yes, my name is Kathryn. You can call me Kathryn, and I'm dean of this thing that we call the School for Cultural and Social Transformation. So I'll say something about that in just a moment. We call ourselves Transform for short. So if you hear people talking about Transform, they mean this still fairly new college. We're 5 years old this summer, and we're a college inside the University of Utah made up of ethnic studies, gender studies, disability studies, and the Pacific Island Studies Initiative, of which you're now part. So in fact, I want to say that you're making history because you're only the third group of students to grace this Pasifika Scholars Summer Institute. So I think it's important for you to really embrace your history making moment here, because that's really near and dear to our hearts. And I want to say that for this and many reasons, we do want to welcome you to our digital doorstep. I want to say really with all humility, and obviously today tinged with some serious sorrow, but also great excitement. And I say humility because we don't take lightly that you'll spend the week with us. We know that's a really big deal. And of course, I say excitement because your leaders have been preparing all year for this day. Now, I get to work directly with Dr. Kehalani Vaughn and Moana Ulaavehavoka. So I really want to take this moment to thank them so warmly for their intense thoughtfulness. And I think you will see that unfold throughout the week, the type of preparation, really the type of love that has gone into thinking about spending this week with you. I fully share their passion to have you here. And I constantly hear their excitement to learn about you, your stories, your hopes, your obvious talents. So I do want to say to get ready for profound encounters and really deep-seated sharing. Now, let me say a word. Moana's asked me to say a word about the formation of this initiative. So I do want to kind of take it back probably about 5 years ago, I'm going to say, when I was visited by 3 people in my office as the Associate Vice President for Equity and Diversity, Kalane Raphael, Adrian Bell, and Matt Basso, came to me with a vision to really try to have this university recognize the tremendous blessing and wealth of Pacific Island communities in this valley. I'm really kind of embarrassed for this university that really only 5 years ago was there a strong push to say, my goodness, we are living in one of the most blessed places on this planet to have Pacific Island communities right here at the doorstep of the university. And of course, many fine staff and faculty working at the U. And one of the things that they felt we needed to do was make a push to hire more faculty in Pacific Island Studies. So with the person who became our president, Ruth Watkins, she and I worked together to have a Pacific Island Studies faculty diversity initiative of hiring. And we, in a 2-year period, hired 4 incredible scholars. I want to say incredible scholars, starting with Dr. Hokulani Aikau, then Dr. Miley Arvin, then Dr. Kehalani Vaughn, and then Dr. Nia Ataoto. And so those are 4 people who in a very short period of time joined the university, and I will say have transformed Pacific Island Studies here. Again, with many great staff, because they're incredible people. I want to acknowledge Kehau Falau is out there somewhere. Kehau and I worked together. There were so many people that have been here at the U, really pushing for this day and this time. So adding our scholars was in many ways a culmination of a lot of hard work and heart that went into this transformation that we now see. So after those hires, then we actually applied for the first ever Academic Mellon Foundation grant. So I'm happy to say the Pacific Island Studies made history right at its start here, because we got the first ever Academic Mellon, which was $600,000 to do a lot of programming, to build this Scholars Institute, and then to step up what this university is able to do. The great vision for it all is to bring the talents and the knowledge of Indigenous folks and Pacific Islanders of many different backgrounds and communities, the sort of wonderful diversity of diaspora here at the University of Utah, and a diaspora that I feel takes so seriously the link to Indigenous peoples on this land. So with Moana beginning with that land acknowledgement, I find Pacific scholars really attentive to this important sort of transindigeneity that we have here in the state of Utah, and building quite profoundly on that. So that's what brings us to this day. You have amazing people that have prepared for you, but again, it's you. You are the people that are really going to transform the University of Utah. As your wisdom flows ever more inside the U, there's going to be a transformation of this place. But we also hope with servants' hearts to be here for you at every turn in the bend of your academic adventure. So know that there are many people here who will talk to you at a moment's notice. I know I will. You send me an email, I will be right back with you. And I know that to be true of the people and the leaders who are prepared for this day. So again, welcome. It means so much to have you here, and I'm thrilled to be here in this moment.
Thank you, Kathryn, for sharing those words and giving us a synopsis of how the Pacific Island Studies came about. And now we'll turn the time over to Dr. Keolani Bond to introduce our next speaker.
Aloha mai kako. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you all. Thank you for, joining us in this virtual space. I have the great honor of really introducing someone that has now become my friend, not only a colleague, but a friend and a mentor. So I will do my best to give a short synopsis, but if you're on the Canvas page, please find the extended bio of both Dr. Dean Stockton and Associate Dean Bergeson on the page. Look them up. So Dr. Amy Bergeson is a Senior Associate Dean for Undergraduate Studies and a professor in the Department of Education Leadership at the University of Utah. Dr. Bergeson's research and professional practice center on college student persistence and success. In particular, she is interested in exploring what motivates students to stay in college and reducing systematic and institutional barriers to students' persistence. In the Office of Undergraduate Studies, Dr. Bergeson has developed and implemented innovative efforts to support student success, including the Student Success Advocates, Sophomore Rise, and Learn Plus Earn. Key to Dr. Bergeson's work is the use of data to help determine what initiatives will best support students and how effective those initiatives are in meeting desired outcomes. Dr. Bergeson's student success work has been recognized with institutional, state, and national awards. And just on a personal note, I will say that Dr. Bergeson is truly just a very giving person. She embodies a lot of the practices that she's trying to create community on campus, where students, especially from underrepresented communities such as our own, can be successful. That's what drives her work, her practice, and her research. And she has mentored quite a few Pasifika graduate students throughout the years. So not only does she help us along, including me as junior faculty, but she has mentored a number of doctoral students while being here at the U. So mahalo nui, Associate Dean Amy Bergeson, and she has also helped us shape the way that we look at data for our program. And so I want to welcome you, Dr. Amy Bergeson, Associate Dean.
Thank you, Dr. Vaughn. And you can just call me Amy. I'm like Kathryn. We'll go by our first names. But I just want to add my welcome to Dr. Stockton, to Kathryn's welcome, and to focus for a minute just on this idea of transformation that Dr. Stockton mentioned. I have just, people ask me all the time, why do you like working in higher education? What is it about college students? And, I think that the time that people are in college is one of the most transformational times. We see things in new ways. We get to hear about things we didn't know about. And we get to learn about ourselves in ways that we don't get to do that in many other parts of our lives. So no matter, whether we're starting out as someone coming straight out of high school or someone who's taken some time off before coming into the higher education environment, this experience of coming to college can be truly transformational. But I also think the other piece of transformation, and Kathryn mentioned this as well, is that we as institutions and places where people come to have this higher education experience need to understand that we need to transform as well. And I think one of the most exciting things about this Pasifika Scholars Institute is the fact that it offers the chance for us to learn from you and to think about how we need to transform to better support our Pacific Islander students' success here at the University of Utah. And so I just hope that you enjoy this week of time where you can really think about yourselves, your relationship to the educational experience, your relationship to your cultures, and also your relationship, hopefully at some point, to the University of Utah, and to understand the many different resources and programs and people that we have in place here who are truly committed to helping you have a transformational experience when you come into this higher education environment. Dr. Vaughn mentioned the data that we have collected from the Institute in the past couple of years. And I think some of the things that you can be looking forward to for this week are to really learn more about yourselves and your cultures, but also to understand higher education, the processes for getting engaged in higher education, the resources that are available at different higher education institutions, but also to start thinking really big about the transformational experiences that you might have in the higher education environment by listening to folks from the Pacific Islander cultures who have been through higher education and who will provide inspiration and ideas for you as you're thinking about how you're going to move forward in this experience. And so this week should be really exciting, fun, thought-provoking, very introspective, but also very outward-looking, and thinking about what the future might hold for you and your families as you think about higher education as a place for you. And hopefully, I'll just add it because I'm sort of shameless like this, but hopefully the University of Utah. We have a fabulous group of people who have, as Kathryn mentioned, have been working hard for a year, looking at the data, thinking about what kinds of changes can make the program even better for you, and who are so excited to have you here virtually and also, hopefully a little bit in person to learn about, what this engine called higher education is all about. So welcome and enjoy the week, and please know how much we appreciate you for taking the time to get to know these folks and this experience better.
Thank you, Amy. We're so excited that you two were able to join us this Monday morning. And also, please remember to stop by the Lost Eden Gallery space on Friday evening if you can. It will just be a walkthrough, and hopefully you can meet folks in person. That's going to be the first thing we've done in person. Kao and I haven't even seen each other's. That was a long time, but hopefully you two can just come see the art and pick up some food on Friday evening. So thank you for joining us, and we will hopefully see both of you in person real soon. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, so for this portion, we're gonna bring all of you back into our webinar room. We're gonna have Ask Mana to transition everyone so we can start meeting those that are the scholars. Thank those folks that joined us just for the beginning portion. And hopefully we'll see you in the rest of the week. Not hopefully, we will see many of you as speakers throughout the rest of the week. So we'll collectively have everyone, and we will move on with the program from there. So I'll just wait for you, Mana, to collect everybody. I'm just going to introduce our program. We'll be doing a deeper dive into getting to know everybody in the second session for today. Making sure we all stay on for then, but all of us, what we wanted to do first is kind of give a rundown for the whole week. And just to let you know, there were, like we said in the beginning, there were some folks that were directly impacted by the actual shooting that they were unable to attend this morning, but will be joining us later on in the week. So if you all will start with, apologies, let me pull this up. Screens. Here's our agenda. Oh, there it is. Okay, so as we said in the beginning, I think the biggest part for this week, kind of giving you a background, and Dr. Ron, you can fill in as we go. But what I wanted to share with all of you is the intention of this program that has set out. For the past 2 years, we have had about 8 to 10 participants, a really tight-knit group that's gotten to know each other very well, and we've spent an entire week with them. This year, I think everyone's Zoom fatigued, and it's a lot smaller group, so you all get to have real one-on-one with us as you prep. And the opportunity for that, though, is we have, like, I think there's about 20 different Pacific Islanders from across the University of Utah, as well as within the community, that will be joining us. And they'll all get to know you really well and know your name. So lucky for you, you get that 1 or 3-to-1 ratio of mentorship. We'll be offering this year, we'll be offering a few of them live sessions so that more people can still tune in for some of the larger group sessions, which will just be webinars. But all these smaller sessions that will work individually with you with goals and trying to figure out what the future holds for you all will just be us in this small group. So part of the reason we even had the Pacific Islands Studies Initiative, or we started it, was because we wanted folks like you all to have this opportunity to meet all the PIs on campus. And when we did it the first year in person, I think there was more than 20. We brought out every single person that works here at the University of Utah who identified as PI for the students or scholars to meet. And then the second part was really just kind of demystifying this experience of transferring or starting out here at the University of Utah and saying, look, yes, there are so few of us as Pacific Islanders on campus, but you have a village. And if we can collect everybody from that village and for you to meet them before you even come here, so you're not or embarrassed to go and ask people, that was part of the reasoning that the Pacific Institute originated. Cal, do you want to say anything about that?
Sure. Just to add on, I will speak for myself. I'm a first generation college student. I was raised by single parents who didn't attend college. No one in my family attended college before or got a graduate degree. So, I mean, a lot of what we created was because we wanted to create the programs that we wish we would have had, right? We wanted to create the programs that we could see ourselves in the curriculum, in the people that were talking or introducing themselves. We wanted to create the program where you could see potential mentors, right? That you feel like you could connect with, that you now know on a first name basis. We wanted to create the program to expose you to all the amazing things that people are doing right now. People on this campus are doing really cool, amazing stuff. And we wanted to kind of give you all access to it in the hopes that you think of higher education as a way to fulfill your potential. Whatever goals, whatever dreams, whatever wishes, whatever passions and talents that you have, how can we assist you in thinking about higher education, or demystifying it, meaning like how does this structure work? You know, a lot of times, especially for myself, I couldn't go ask my mom, right? Yeah, I couldn't ask her. She didn't really understand why I was studying all the time. She's like, but you're not in class. It's like, yeah, it's a totally different ballgame. But in a lot of ways, you know, we hope that you can see education as a potential space to fulfill whatever goals you have, but also think about education as a potential space that could be somewhat healing, right? A lot of times we don't see ourselves when we go through K through 12 curriculum, right? If you're lucky, you get to have a Pacific Islander teacher, maybe, probably not. I didn't have one. I didn't even have anybody in college for that matter. But we see so much potential in our community. We know that one, we come from ancestors, Kapuna, that were brilliant and smart, and we continue to carry those legacies. So let's all figure out what you all want to do, and let's help you reach your potential, and know that you have a space here if you would like to come here to the U or SLIC, whatever higher education institution you want to pursue, we will support you. Mahalo nui.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ron. That also counted as her introduction. So what we're gonna do right now is that we're just gonna go around and introduce each other. We're grateful that even some of our folks that aren't scholars, but like Alicia is gonna join us because she can introduce herself, and I've been meaning to have her meet some of the scholars as well. So before I go forward, I've been talking like you all know me, but you only met me through email. My name is Moana Uluave Hafoka. I am first gen 2 college student and grad student, hoping to be a future PhD candidate or PhD student in the future. And I'm here, I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, born and raised, and we'll be doing a deeper dive, but just I've been here at the university for the past almost 3 years. And Dr. Ron and I have just been trying to figure this institute out and bridge more folks from the community here that are interested in undergraduate pathways as well as graduate pathways. And we have been having fun doing that. Sometimes it doesn't always feel like work because we get to work with students that we like and content that we like to share with them. So I really want to emphasize, and some of our students will attest to this, that we're approachable and we like working with students. So if you want to come and approach us, email or text us, that's what we do and what we're here for, even if you're not formally a student of the University of Utah. I've helped several students just get online that are not even participating in our different programs, but we don't care about that. If you're gonna come to higher ed in any shape or form, we're going to connect you the best way that we have. And we understand community because it's not always a straight shot. It's really crooked, a lot of pauses, just like when I hike, you pause a lot, catch your breath, try to get it together. But our hope is that we'll be able to support you. Right now, I want to introduce, before we introduce everybody else, our staff and behind the scenes, our graduate intern, which is also our Pasifika fellow for the master's program. Kaimana, can you first introduce us? And it's super early, so we're grateful for Kaimana. He is coming from Hawaii, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
Mahalo Moana. Aloha mai kako, everyone. Good to see new faces and familiar folks as well. My name is Kaimana, or you folks can call me Mana Kahale. Like Moana mentioned, I am zooming in bright and early from the island of Molokai here in Hawaii. It's 7 o'clock-ish, so I'm starting to get my bearings a little bit now that I've been up for a couple hours. Yeah, and so as Moana mentioned, I just finished my first year in the Education, Culture, and Society Master's Program at the U. And I'm also a graduate research assistant, working closely alongside Dr. Vaughn and Moana and Kale. I'm kind of the tech guy. That's kind of my role. We kind of just determined that over the past year, figuring things out via Zoom and being in the midst of a pandemic. So if you folks have any questions or are needing assistance with, for example, Canvas, I'm doing a lot of the stuff. I'm monitoring Canvas, and I'll go over that after we do introductions. Or do you want me to do that after this, Mona? How?
We'll introduce everyone, and then can you
Okay.
quickly share, because I think a couple of folks have some questions, and then you can
Okay.
ask to Mana. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions regarding tech or Canvas or just anything in general, just you can send your message in the chat, or just let me know and I'll help you as best as I can. But excited to share space with all of you folks over the next several days, and looking forward to it. Thank you.
And thank you, Mana. And then we'll have Kalev, who is our undergraduate. Well, she just graduated, so you can explain that. I won't. If you don't to your own horn, I will after. So go, Kalev.
Oh, hi, everybody. My name is Kalev Tuitpo. I am the undergraduate summer intern this year. This past year, I was the research fellow for the initiative. So I've been doing just a research project. I just recently graduated with my bachelor's degree in sociology, so exciting. And I'll be pursuing a PhD at the University of Hawaii in Manoa this coming fall. So a lot of exciting things, a lot of busy things happening this summer, but excited to be here. I'll also be doing some kind of tech stuff. I'll be taking pictures and different things like that, but feel free to ask any questions about, college, what research is like, just anything. Super open to answering any questions, but excited to be with you all. So thanks.
And then we'll have Joy, who was a past ambassador, but also Joy will be helping us later through the summer. So go ahead, Joy. She'll be joining in, popping into various stages here.
Hi, everyone. Yes, like Moana said, my name is Joy Kalopalu. I am heading into my senior year at the University of Utah, studying health society and policy and international studies. And I was a previous Pasifika ambassador, so I worked with this past year's cohort with the other interns, and we worked with other community leaders and in the Salt Lake area as interns. And then again, I'll be a peer mentor for next year's cohort. But again, like Mana said, I'm excited to share space with you all, build community, and grow through this program this summer. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Joy. And then we'll have Alisi introduce herself.
Hi, family. My name is Alisi Nupalal. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I currently work at Salt Lake Community College in the Office of Diversity and Multicultural Affairs. Last summer was my first time participating in this program as the graduate assistant. And I just love it so much that I just popped in again today. But just like Mona said, I'm just here to offer whatever kind of support I can. I actually came from a community college in San Mateo, California, transferred to the University of Utah, and then completed my master's program at the U. And so I honestly believe that higher education is for everyone. It's just finding the best fit for y'all. So definitely wanted to just join in, hop in, introduce myself, and let y'all know if y'all need any kind of support, any kind of assistance, guidance from my end, not only just at Salt Lake Community College, but also connecting y'all to our family and friends at the University of Utah. I'm always a call, text, email away. Thank you, Moana and Dr. Vaughn, for letting me join in, and good to see, yes, just like Moana said, familiar faces, and just meet the scholars this summer as well. So thank you.
Yes, and everyone who is either at SLAC or going to go to SLAC and then will later transfer, we'll connect you with Alisi too, so that you will be able to navigate that space. We're only here at the University of Utah, but it's whatever you want to go through, we'll help you. Thanks, Alisi, for joining us too. We miss you, and come on Friday if you can, so we can see you in person and you can see the gallery space. All right, so now I'll just go to the scholars. We'll start out with Freddie and then go around. I think a couple of people are trying to come in, so Mana, if you can keep a lookout for those folks. Thanks.
Hey guys, my name is Freddie Lafo from Samso, Shoreview area. This is my senior year up at the University of Utah, majoring in econ. My minor is in the entrepreneurship program, heavy with Lasan on campus. I'm just excited to be on here, especially on this space, just to network and utilize all the resources that we have on campus and everything online. Hopefully just to pass along to the future generation and those who are wanting to go and pursue higher education. But yeah.
Thanks, Freddie. Also, this year is a bit different than our last years. We were having all different folks come in who wanted to join, who are different points in their pathway toward in higher ed or towards a master's or PhD, wherever you're to join us. But yeah, so then we'll have Suzanne.
Hi, everyone. I'm driving back from St. George, so sorry about that.
No, thanks for joining us.
I'm excited. I was so excited for this. I'm so excited to meet everyone. I am going to be graduating from Salt Lake Community College in August. I'm older than all of you. 44 years old. My kids are in the back. I don't know what I want to do yet. As far I know, I want to go to the U. I was thinking social work, but passionate about sociology, race, and ethnicity is like something that I love, and so that's why I'm attending this. I'm hoping to get some direction on which way I want to go and just learn about everybody else's cultures, and hopefully I want to get back to my roots. It's my mix, so I don't know, it just seems far removed for me lately. So anyways, that's it.
Thanks, Suzanne, and for joining us via driving from St. George. Be safe while you're driving and listening in on our conversations. And also, so that you know, Suzanne, there's always a couple that we have that are returning each year, and we love to see it, and also understand like what a great example that you're having for your kids of pursuing higher ed, no matter what. A few of our speakers too that will be joining us have had similar paths. As you may all know, like with Pacific Islanders, not everybody goes at 18 and enters and is like, oh yeah, and then I got my master's at 23 or something. It's all a different pathway. So we're really happy to have you. And now we're gonna go to Sandra.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sandra Lutulele. I'm Fultonia, and I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, born and raised. I just wanted to say to Suzanne, because I know she just talked, I think that it's amazing that she's pursuing higher education. My mom actually is on a break right now, but she was also doing that as a mother, and I know how difficult that can be. So I just wanted to express my gratitude for women like you who set examples for us. I am 20 years old. I just returned from a full-time mission. I served in Georgia and in the Philippines, and that was a great opportunity. And I will be attending Salt Lake Community College in the fall. I'm hoping to major in business with maybe going into accounting, but I'm grateful for this opportunity. I really joined this week because of a long time experience with roots within the community. My grandparents are very heavily rooted in the Glendale and Rose Park community. My grandmother was an elementary teacher for many years, and my grandfather is also a major figure within the community in Tongan here in Salt Lake City and those same cities that I talked about. And so I've seen them give a lot of support and knowledge to those communities in a way that it's been able to help people. And I really want to be able to do the same. And hopefully this education that I'm seeking now can help me to do that, and to do that in the best way possible. I know that there's a lot of tracks to take. And so right now I'm kind of on business. That's the path that I'm hoping to take, but I'm really open to anything, whatever would help the community the best. And I think the most important thing in order to help people is to understand what the community is and what my roots are. I am first generation born here on my dad's side, and second generation born on my mother's side, but I feel I'm very inadequate as far as understanding the history of our culture and of where we come from. So that's what I'm hoping to learn this week and to implement that in my education, continuing on. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm excited to learn this week.
Thanks, Sandra. And Sandra's one of my little cousins, and she really is just got off of a mission. So it's like this is the first avenue back into higher ed. So thanks, Sandra, for joining us. Hopefully you'll be sharing some of your talents with us later this week. I won't say those talents, but please, maybe later in the week. And then I wanted Sandra and Alisi probably connect you through text, but you have a brand new person, Alisi, if you can track her to Hadslick. And then now we'll have Lave. Lave, can you hear us? If you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I came in late. I'm not sure what I'm saying my name, and then just
where you are in education right now, and anything where you're from.
Okay. My name's Lave Ika. I just graduated from Bountiful High. I'm hoping to further my education. Like, I want to go into nursing, and I committed to BYU Idaho, but I'm still I'm open to also looking into other things other than nursing. So, and I'm hoping that this program could help me figure out what I'm really wanting to do. And yeah, sorry.
No, thanks, Lave. Lave is connected to everybody we know too. I think you know Cal too, with Galo and the rest of our Lele crew. So thanks, Lave, for joining us. We're excited to have you. My sister's on here too, Emma. Emma, you'll be in and out through the week. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I'm Emmeline. I'm number 6 of the 7 girls in me and Mana's family, and I go to BYU. I'm in my last year, and I'm majoring in sociology and minoring in global women's studies. So just here because I follow my sister Moana everywhere she goes. So glad to be here.
Also hoping, Kehao, that we can get her to come to the University of Utah for grad program. She's a Gates Millennium Scholar, so she comes with her own funding.
I'll take anyone from your family.
Mostly I tried to tell her to come on, but she's just listening in. And Lave, also congratulations on graduating. And for all of those who have just graduated, thank you. Oh, Alicia, you just graduated too, right? Oh my gosh, yeah. So congratulations to our graduates who are here from high school, undergraduate and graduate programs. And then we have those like Freddie and Emma that are and Joy that are on the home stretch, as well as Mana. So good luck for this last year. And part of the bridge isn't just like, oh, here's a bunch of resources. What we want to let you know is that, especially with the next couple of sessions, our next session, we're going to talk about goals and how we can support, but really taking a deep dive into who you are as a person, what you want with your own community, and how you can set those goals. So it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, it's really beneficial no matter what. And Alicia can attest to this because she was she wasn't even part of the program, but she was organizing it. And last year we had all these deep conversations. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. I want to give right now, have Mana talk a little bit about if you have any questions with Canvas, and we can send you the links, and you can join us on there, because all of the stuff that we're giving you, we're going to give you access to the Canvas, and you'll always have access to that. So like, there's just go and look in there. Mana can talk a little bit more about that, but it's connected to your email, so you'll be able to access this even after the week is over. I know Lave said she's already committed to BYU Idaho, and then like Em is at BYU, so it's not really specific to the University of Utah. Our hope is somewhere down the line you'd come here maybe for graduate school or later on, but there are like community resources on the webpage. So if you have any questions on how to log on, I'm just gonna give a quick minute to Mana for those housekeeping, and then we'll continue with a breakdown of the rest of the week. Thanks, Mana.
Thanks, Moana. So I know some of you folks have access to Canvas. Others may have been having some technical issues this morning. If you're one of those folks and you need me to resend you the link, I can do that as well. Just let me know. But what I'll do really quickly is I'll just share my screen and we'll just go over it. It's pretty straightforward once you kind of get the gist of how Canvas works. So you'll see that it'll be entitled Pasifika 2021. And if you go to the homepage, you have sort of the program activity, modules, resources, and cohort. You can meet some of a little bit more about our own bios, our team. But I guess the meat of what everything will be in is the program activity. When you press that, you'll have a link for each day. So for example, today is Monday, June 7th, and you'll just kind of have a quick outline of what we have planned for the day. I've tried to have all sort of like the quote unquote assignments or work that we have with URLs. So you can just go straight to that, section rather than going to all of this stuff on the side. So for example, you folks will have to do a historical timeline and feedback each day. So making sure that you do these assignments will greatly help out not only you folks, but us, and getting some idea as to where you folks are. Each day we'll also have, a bunch of different guest speakers. So you can go to their bios and read a little bit more about them. At the end or towards the end of our day, we also have sort of this reflective period. So there's also sort of the prompt for that. And then if you press the link, for example, this is where you can actually share that reflection if you want to. And then at the end of each day, there's also kind of a reminder for an assignment and some maybe videos or links or resources in preparation for the next day. And I forgot to mention, we also have like the main sort of flyer that you can preview or you can download for just to get another idea of how the day is going, with additional links, or if you want to put a face to a name, those are available as well. Let me see. That's kind of the main thing. If you go to home, and you go to the program activity, it can pretty much direct you where you need to. We also have you folks. I know Moana mentioned a couple weeks ago, if you folks could send, if you have the time, a potential bio or a video, and I can upload that for you folks, just so that you folks can get a better idea of who's in the cohort and who you'll be kind of sharing space with over the next several days. The main things you'll be looking at is that homepage. There's also the assignments and discussions, but those were the kind of the URLs that were linked to the assignments for each day. But again, if you folks have any questions or you need me to resend an invitation, or you're having some issues with accessing some of the material, just feel free to let me know in the chat, and I can definitely get to that. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, Mana. I think, Lave, do you have the link? And Joy? We'll send those out. Okay, can you add Joy and make sure Lave gets that as well? And if I'll send you Ms if she wants to join us as well on the Canvas, Mana.
Sure. If you guys could send me your folks' email in the chat so I can send out the link, that'll help out a bit. And then you should receive a link. I think it should be in your main inbox, but some people say that it's kind of just in other areas. So just be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Mana. I think, let me look through. Yeah, so anytime you have any of those technical issues, Mana is like CC'd on all of our emails too. You can also contact him. If you and you all have my number because I've texted you all, been bothersome. And so if you have any needs, just text me. And if you need to connect with anybody else, if you can't find it, I know you have my contact information. And then now I just want to talk about the rest of the week so that you have an understanding of like how the program's set up and what to expect in the next few days. So for the first, if you look at your programs that I sent out, the daily breakdown, each day has a proverb at the top of the page. And as we've said before, this whole program has been really intentional, really due to Dr. Von Arkehau's intentionality with working with community, as well as us seeing what the needs were here in Salt Lake City. So we've put different proverbs for each day so that you can think of. And so each morning we'll introduce these proverbs and we'll ask you to think about them throughout the day. And then hopefully like introducing you to all these folks will give you a sense of like what's out there and what's available to you for just like scholarship in general, and not even like just for this program. So think of this as an introduction to many of the scholars that you may be learning about in the future or interested in taking a deeper dive when you go to graduate school. And so our first day today is Kohai Hoingoa. And if you look at it, we had the welcome. And then later, our next session after lunch will be me. I'll be doing identity, who are you? And we'll be looking at types of goals and things that you want for your life. It's kind of non-traditional, so just go with us when we talk with it. It's more talk story and our Pacific Islander way. And then we'll be discussing what you want out of this and what you want for your own future. Sometimes I'll discuss this. Sometimes I'll speak for myself from coming from like strong talking Samoan backgrounds where our families are like, you should do this. And then they're very forceful on what direction you should take. That is not the approach we're taking. What we're saying is like, here are all of these different opportunities. What are the things you all want to look at and delve in deeper into who you are as a person, and what is that? So we might have you end this program with more questions than answers, but at least we'll set you up with some support systems that you can go ask those people for help. So yeah, today is identity, and we're just going to talk about, all of us will share, even the staff, we will all share our own educational journeys, and we're hoping that you, again, talking about demystifying like, oh, higher ed is this mystical place and you can't get into graduate or undergraduate and you have to know everything. What you're gonna find out is there's a common theme that none of us know what we're doing and we're just trying our best. So if you feel like that right now as a undergrads and you're like, I don't know, you're at the right place. We're trying to figure that out as well. So that will be our first day. Our next day, as you will look through our different programs, actually, Mana, could you somehow pull these up and I can just talk about them and everybody can see them?
You want me just to share my screen and then you'll just go, or do you want me to share?
Can I share screen?
I think you're able to. Do you want me to?
Oh, I got it. Sorry, Mana. Thank you. Mana's the one who answers all our questions. So then here you can see day 2, what's it got to do with it. And we're talking about Kehau or Mana. Please use your Hawaiian skills to say this proverb.
Go ahead, Mana.
Okay, so it is Ika va mamua kava mahope.
Yeah.
The future lies in the past.
So thinking about this for tomorrow's session, and we'll talk a little bit about this, is we'll be having some welcome and history of Yosepa, a panel with Council Member Jake Fitzsimanu and Charlene Louis. And then we'll have a discussion about Ngatu and its healing power with a reflection with Asena Tayone Filhia. So these are things that are adjacent or like I think in people's minds that's not part of higher ed, but that's part of our higher ed experience as Pasifika people. So we'll be talking about the history and where we come from here in Utah, especially. And then for day 3, we're going to this is the proverb for that day: seeking knowledge guarantees wisdom, and that's Marshallese one. And then we're going to have all of these panelists from the students here at the University of Utah. So if you're interested in any of these different aspects, you can ask your peers and not necessarily us, because we come from a different perspective. And then the 4th day, we'll be having all of the faculty that are part of the PI initiative. And so they are the ones that you can ask questions to. This is huge too, seeing all of them here in one place in time, because as you heard from Kathryn in the beginning, it wasn't until 4 years ago, was it 4 or 5 years ago, Cal, that they said, so 5 years ago. So none of these folks, except for Adrian and Matt, worked here that you're gonna meet, and that they've just been building only the last 5 years to bring on a larger group of Pacific Islander faculty. And then we have a treat with Dr. Nia. You all who are interested in the medical or public health field, she'll be talking about community-focused scholarship. And all her work that she does in the community, she's hilarious. So like, she connects with community, but then she's like this really decorated scholar. So it's like, wait, you can have like all these publications and be funny and still like an auntie. That's the part that we also want to share with you. And then on our final day, what we want to do is just share with you community leaders that are here already in Salt Lake City that you can connect with. Some of you are related to folks, not just on this panel, but I, who am a child of community leaders in Salt Lake City, you don't really see your own family in that light. You're just kind of like, that's my grandma, that's my grandpa, that's my mom and my dad. So we're hoping to like, even you to kind of reframe your own thinking and be like, oh, actually, I've been doing community work my whole life and attending these events, but didn't really recognize that I'm an actor in these things, not just being acted upon. So we'll have that community. To look ahead, we're gonna ask all of you to have just a 5-7 minute presentation. It's like, I had it connected on the email. It's super short, but it's more about like what your experience was here. And then we want to make sure you have 3 goals when you leave here that are concrete and not just like, yeah, if there's something in the future that I'll do, so that we can follow up with you and help you achieve at least those 3 goals, or at least one of them in the future. So that will be that final presentation. And then on Friday night, for those of you who are in Utah, I don't know if we're going to introduce Lost Eden, but Lost Eden Gallery Space is the first indigenously owned gallery space here in Salt Lake City. Our friend Moana Ho-Ching owns it, and so it's at the Gateway. And right now there's an installation. There's what is the word I'm thinking of? A collection. There's a collection of art hanging there right now, and it's by Tali Hafoka. If anybody knows who's Tali Alisa Hafoka, she's a painter, a fine artist painter. And we're just gonna have you pick up your swag. We have like some gifts for you all. We couldn't really meet in person, we know that, but we know you can come walk through. And then we're just having food for you all and some music and to see that gallery space, because not many people have been able to go because of COVID. But now since the masks and things are open, and so come through on Friday night and pick up your swag bags and get to see that art. So anybody have any questions about the run through of the week? Nope. But yeah, at the end of each session too, we'll just have each day we'll have I forgot to mention that, but like if you see the reflection portion, we'll be just chatting with each other and like making sure everybody has what they need, and then preparing for the next day. If you see on Canvas, there's like homework assignments. What you put into the week is what you'll get out. So if you want to go look at those homework assignments and read through, of course, Cal's done teaching for this year. So she's not gonna grade you and I'm not. I just want you to be prepped in terms of like, if you want to learn more about your SEPA, please feel free to look it up and to see what the history of our Pacific Islanders here are in Utah specifically. And if you want to learn more about how long we've been here and in the US and the push and pull of that, this is all up to you. It's a bit self-guided because we're here online. So whatever you want to put into it, that's what you'll get out and have that deeper understanding. The other thing is, I hope when you learn about your SEPA, it will give you, prompt you. I know all of the scholars here today are from Utah or based in Utah. Maybe it'll give you that little push to go and visit. The first year we did it, we took all the scholars out there, and it was because we had provided everybody with the historical understanding of the space and then brought in elders to talk story there. It was a very different experience for everyone. So encourage that as well. I think that's, let me look, what time is it? But yeah, we're about on time. Let me look. Okay, How, do you have anything else? I think that that's all of what I wanted to give for the rundown.
Oh, great run through. Thank you for letting everyone know what the intentions were, the program, the goals. But yeah, if you have any questions, it's like Moana was mentioning, this has been like created because we felt like this was the best way to have this week in terms of exploring where we're from or where we're at, and then building off of that. Because oftentimes we don't have the space to do that in educational settings, and it's so important to all of us. So, mahalo nui.
Thank you all. And if you have any questions during our breaks for lunch and things, just let us know. The other thing I wanted to share, what was that? Talking about recordings. So I had you all sign the recording waiver. We're not going to be broadcasting like these smaller ones. Many of them are just for us to review if needed later on. But the largest ones that the recordings we're going to, or for our discussions, is just so that we can review and make the program better for our smaller discussions. So if you didn't comb your hair this morning and you just hopped on, you know what, all good. We ain't gonna broadcast that on YouTube. The ones where we are gonna broadcast are the webinars. So feel free to like hop in and out. We're here to help, and that just wanted to be fully transparent about the recording pieces. And then I think that's all, and then we'll hop back on at 1:30. We'll reconvene here so everyone can go gather themselves and grab some food, and then 1:30, just be in prep. We're going to be doing the identity piece, and then I'll be running that session. So thanks all. We'll see you in a little while. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.